What everybody does is they want to bring a dog in, they want to love the dog, they want to give, and get some love back from the dog, okay? And unfortunately what that creates with many dogs, if you get 1 or 2 dogs in your life and you do okay, it's because you ended up with compliant dogs. And the way you were just happened to be okay for those kind of dogs. They're, you know, they may not have been to the level that I expect from a dog, but they were good enough that you had a good life with them. Now, when you get a dog who's got a more dominant mindset and he comes into a home with a passive, loving, giving leader, he starts going, hey, I rule. And he gets more, it becomes like Hitler. He says, I wouldn't invade Poland if, you know, he makes a little treaty with him, but the next day he invades Poland.
Right.
Okay? That's the way these dogs are. They become more and more aggressive, and every time they get a chance to dominate somebody, threaten somebody, bark at somebody, nip at somebody, and nobody puts them in their place, they realize that humans are weak. Humans cannot stand up to them. So they become more and more aggressive. And you think, well, what's wrong with him? Gee, I love him, and he's so loving with me. You get this idea that he's a wonderful dog because he's taken you as part of his pack. As long as you don't challenge him and you don't step out of line and do anything that really threatens his authority, you're not in any danger. Everybody else outside the established pack is in danger. If you let him go, he'd attack my boy, okay? And he'd seriously hurt him. Now, if he lived through it and stayed in the house, as long as he never crossed the dog anymore, he'd eventually become buddies with the dog. He wouldn't have to worry anymore. But every new person coming in has to get thrashed by your dog first to be accepted by him if they want to be around.
Right.
Okay? So that's an abusive situation. Your dog is an abuser of human beings. Okay? And there's a ripple effect. You throw a stone in the lake and it go everybody that has to pass by you or be exposed to you is suffering in some way because of your dog and their contact with them. Okay, so you have to think of all the people in the world that may ever come in contact with you and the dog. You've got to think about the fact the dog is suffering. Everything he's going through there is negative and it's unhappy. You're not allowing your dog to live a peaceful life. Okay, so you have to recognize he needs to change, and the only way he can change is if you change. If I was just another dog coming in here and saying, well, I walk in, I say, well, okay, this is your place. Well, I'm taking over. I'm going to run this show. They're going to have a major blow-up fight, and they're going to be fur flying and blood, and it's going to sound horrible. And if you watched it, you'd be crying yourself silly. Okay, but at the end, one of those dogs is going to rise up as a victor, and then the other dog who lost will never challenge that leader again. Typically, why a lot of people don't have dogs that bite people. Say Mark walks in the house and the dog's like, "Arr!" And you hold him back, and you say, "Well, just a few minutes, and he'll be your best friend." Because the average person walking into a home is staying there going, "It's okay, I'm a nice person," and they submit. They're saying, "I'm no challenge to you," and then they stay there, and then they hold the hand out, and you come sniff me, and the dog walks up, and he's like, and he's sniffing, and what the dog is saying, "Don't move, pal. You do anything I don't like, I'll take a round out of you." As long as the person submits and the dog realizes this person is no threat to his perceived authority, he can come in, he can move around, then he's their best friend. And that's why people get sort of lulled into this false sense of security. They're thinking, well, he's not a biter, he wouldn't hurt anybody. But he would if people came in and didn't submit to him.
Right.
Okay? And so kids, he's obviously got a real issue with kids because kids move weird and kids don't understand how to really submit. He perceives them as more of a challenge than an adult.